Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Just trying to see where it went wrong.
The song that you are currently listening to is called For the Best, and it is the first of two new songs that are coming out on the director's cut of Finn O'Sullivan's latest EP, Best Last Words. You can stream the original EP as well as other releases of Finn's wherever you get your music, and be sure to check out the director's cut on Friday, July 19th. Also be sure to check Finn out online at FinnO'Sullivanmusic.com, on her Instagram at FinnO'Sullivanmusic, and on her YouTube at Finn O'Sullivan, where she releases covers every single Friday. Be sure to check out her music videos for Pity Party Thoughts and for When the Power Comes Back On to see a very special guest star appear. And finally, be sure to check out her trio, Children of Divorce, featuring Genevieve Lieben and Katie Yeager, who also have solo careers on their own, performing live at the Gold Hill Inn, located at 41 Main Street in Gold Hill on Saturday, July 20th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Be sure to stream their single, The Audacity, to get a taste of what you might expect.
I'll try to write it off. When I can't breathe, I'll take a walk. Give myself some time and space. They all lied about heartbreak when they said it's not forever. Wake up in a different state, but you know that I won't come out in the wash.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to this week's Miscellaneous Monday edition of the Mountaineer Podcast, where we cover various topics from across the Peak to Peak area. This week, I have two different interviews from two different guests for you, one of whom is covering a very important community announcement that is coming up in the very near future, and one of whom is covering his very own new local business, which you can go over and support. Let's talk about the community announcement first. Our first guest this week, do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
Sure, I'm Stephen LeFavier. I'm Executive Director of Teens Inc. and been in this position since 2005.
And the community announcement that you wanted to make, there's a vote coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, July 30th is the special election to allow Teens Inc. to build and operate an early childhood education center on town-owned property known as the Old Town Shop site, which is located on 5th Street, kind of behind the fire station. And we've been working towards this since October 3rd, 2023 was our first public meeting. We've had 6 public meetings and have gone through the entire process through approval, where the Town Board of Trustees unanimously approved this project moving forward. And then the folks who were not in favor of this project worked to get 67 signatures to send it to a town vote. So that's where we are.
So what can community members expect if the vote goes through?
Well, if the vote goes through, Teens Inc. will work with the town of Nederland to solidify a lease agreement for 99 years. Our proposal is a 99-year lease for $1 a year, and Teens Inc. will work with an architect and a builder in the greater community to come up with a design for a preschool, early childhood education center serving infants, toddlers, and preschool age children. Age is about 8 weeks to 5 years old is through preschool. And then Teens Inc. will build the building. We'll raise all the funds necessary for it. We're just simply asking the town for support through the land lease, and then we'll operate the preschool throughout the term of the lease and hopefully longer.
How will construction progress if the vote goes through?
Yeah, so we've already begun working with an architect, and we're in the process of choosing a builder. And so we're moving forward. We have some applications for funding outstanding, and our hope would be to break ground in April 2025 and get it fully enclosed by throughout that summer, and then open in August 2026. would be our goal. Our goal all along has been to do this as quickly as we possibly can because we know the struggles and the challenges that families are having with the lack of childcare in the region, and that's about as quick as we can do it. This initiative has slowed us down a bit, but we do believe that we can do that if all the pieces fall into place as we hope they will, which includes funding and stuff like that. It's not a guarantee 100%, but that's our most optimistic outlook right now, and we believe that with the vote, getting past the vote, that we'll be able to move in that direction pretty quickly.
And how will the voting process work? Do they have to vote on the day? To give context as to the times that Stephen is about to reference, we recorded this interview last Tuesday, July 9th.
No, it's a mail-in ballot, so the ballot should be hitting the post office boxes this week or very early next week. So ballots will be in people's hands within the next 7 days, from my understanding. You can mail the ballots back through the mail. You can drop them off at the ballot box at the Nederland Community Center, and I believe maybe you can drop them off at Town Hall, but definitely the ballot box and through the mail. And then on the 30th is when they will be tallied. So anytime before or by the evening of July 30th, the ballots can be returned.
Have plans for this childcare center been thrown around before the October 3rd, 2023 public meeting?
No, not that I'm fully aware of, or not by. Teens Inc. decided to move forward with this idea and this concept after about a year or 18 months of deliberation with our board of directors. We took over the current preschool in town, New Explorers Learning Center, the only year-round preschool in the area. We took that over when Aspen Grove and Little Bear preschool were going out of business. And that was our first decision to get into this service for the community. And we learned very quickly that there was a much bigger need than what we were able to provide. There's only 20 year-round slots right now in the whole peak-to-peak region, and there's no infant or toddler care, so no care for any child under the age of 2.5 years old. So our waiting list just kept growing and growing and growing, and we just kept telling people that we're not going to be able to fit you in. So after quite a long process amongst our board of directors, the decision was made to move forward to try to address the issue. So at that point, we explored some different options and landed on this being the most viable and best option for Teens Inc. and the community. We have explored about 6 other potential possibilities, none of which have really come to fruition as we would hope in order to make those a viable option. So this seems the best option. There's a public-private partnership between the town and a nonprofit is a really strong show of collaboration amongst the two entities in town that this is such a critical need and is looked upon very favorably from different funders. So we're really excited to have the potential partnership with the town to really help move this project forward most efficiently.
It sounds like the hope is that this project will eventually fill the niche of childcare that is so important in this community.
Yeah, we think it will really help the community. Our hope is that we have some vacancy. We don't want to be full on day one. We hope that there's a little room for growth within the community, but I also fully believe that if some of the other developments that are talked about within the community at this time, if those go through, we're going to be short again very soon. So we're proposing around 65 slots, infant, toddler, and preschool. Like I said, we have 20 at our current preschool each day, and there's over 70 folks on kind of a waiting and interest list. So in our analysis, 65-ish right now is a good number to be striving for to really bring some relief to the community and the families in the area.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on to our next guest?
I guess I just really hope that folks take the vote seriously. This is a great opportunity, we believe, for the community to address one of, if not the most critical need. Of course, there's other needs within the community, but childcare and education plays an important role in many of the other needs that the community is also facing, such as housing. So I hope that folks really don't hesitate to call Teens Inc. or myself or email if they have any questions, concerns, or want to discuss our hopes and plans, and just take the vote really seriously and fill out their ballot and turn it back in. That's my biggest hope and request of the community.
Thank you so much to Stephen for coming on board and joining us for the podcast to make this important community announcement. He emailed me after the the interview was done to make sure I had the most specific information possible as to how you can submit your filled-in ballots. If you have filled in your ballots, you can send them in by mail, in person at Town Hall, or in person at the 24/7 drop box that is located just outside the Nederland Community Center. Here's what you can do if you don't want to send it in by mail. On Election Day, Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., the voted ballots may be returned to either the Nederland Town Hall, located at 45 West 1st Street in Nederland, or at the 24/7 drop box located just outside the Nederland Community Center at 750 Highway 72 North in Nederland. Be sure to fill in your ballots and turn them in by Tuesday, July 30th. Before we move on to our next guest, here's an ad break.
Does talking with your teen ever feel like a game show with unpredictable twists and turns? Well, it doesn't have to be. We're pulling back the curtain and revealing winning tips for parents to take their relationship with their teen to the next level. Because a stronger bond not only keeps them healthy, but also adds more joy to your relationship. Ready to level up your parenting game? It's time to connect more. Head to forwardtogetherco.com for expert tips, videos, and guides. Build stronger connections starting today, because parenting should be a winning experience.
Welcome back. And now, let's get into this week's local business spotlight. Our second guest, do you mind introducing yourself real quick?
I am Mike Estes, the proud owner of Blackhawk Pizza in Blackhawk, Colorado.
And Blackhawk Pizza is a somewhat new business in the area, am I correct?
Fairly new. We opened the 24th of April of this year.
And how have the numbers been going over the last couple of months?
They're going really good. They seem to be increasing every day and every week. We're doing pretty good over here.
So how did Blackhawk Pizza start in the first place? How long have you been wanting to set up a pizza business in Blackhawk?
Well, I was watching this location for the past 3 or 4 years. It was prior a pawn shop. And when it became available in January, I did see a need for a pizzeria up here for the past couple 3 years. And when it became available, I leased it and proceeded to remodel the building and start Blackhawk Pizza. Here we are today.
What would you say are some of the selling points of your particular pizza business?
We don't skimp on quality. Quality is our main ingredient. We do a little bit of a delivery service on weekends from 5 to 9:30. That helps a lot of the locals that we never had delivery see what it's like. We have a fantastic sauce that just can't be beat. We do a New York style type pizza, which actually originated for me in Boston, East Boston actually, around Logan Airport. And I followed that right out here.
And what varieties of pizza can people get?
Oh, they can get a plain cheese pizza. We've got Hawaiian chicken pesto. We've got a house special that has pepperoni, sausage, bell pepper, mushroom, and red onions. We also do calzones. We have our house calzone, which follows our house special pizza, a 2-topping calzone. We also do a lunch special. It's an 8-inch pizza with 1 topping for $7.95 with a drink.
Is there anything else on the menu at Blackhawk Pizza?
Basically, we have got drinks and cookies. We're sticking with a basic menu. We're not getting too crazy. We're doing just our, calzones and pizzas at this time. We do expect to expand on that here in the future. But while we're getting established, we want to get the flavors of our pizzas and calzones out there first. We'll let the public know what we really specialize in.
So it seems like there was a need for a pizzeria in the specific location where you ended up putting it.
Yeah, we are just about a mile south of the casinos in the Coyote Liquor Motel strip mall here. We're at the southern end of the building. And we haven't seen much pizza up here, and that's one of the main reasons we decided to open up a pizzeria. Yes, you can get some pizza at the casinos, and it's just not as fresh or tasty as ours.
And what's your business story? Have you delved into a pizza business before?
This is my first pizza business. Like I said, I worked in East Boston at Logan Airport for 7 years, and every corner had a pizzeria or a sandwich shop on it. And I was working 2 different jobs and basically survived on local pizza and sandwiches while I was there. I got a real feel for what type of pizzas were my favorite. And then I've been out here since 1983. I've also worked in a couple of prisons, one down in Texas where I was the kitchen boss, and we fed 2,400 inmates twice a day. So I got my cooking experience down there and kind of dabbled a little bit here and there with it. And then, like I said, when I found this to open, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I jumped on it. Here I are.
And how many staff do you currently have working there?
Right now we have 3 people, myself and 2 others. We are definitely looking for help. Help is definitely a hard thing to find up here. It's a small county. There's not a lot of people actually looking for work, but we are looking for people.
Has it been challenging keeping up with the orders with so few people working there currently?
It's kind of hard to keep up with the orders, but we're doing it. Sometimes there's an hour and a half wait, and that's only because we get overwhelmed with the amount of orders that we're getting. But we do manage to get them out, keep people fed and happy. Got a lot of return customers. A lot of locals love it. We had one person that our delivery driver went to his house and delivered a pizza. He said he almost had a heart attack because he never had anybody deliver a pizza to his house. That's a good little compliment. But it's good for the people who live up here. They don't have to drive all the way to Denver, get a cold pizza up at their house, have to reheat it. We deliver within a 15-minute radius. That way we can deliver a hot, fresh pizza and don't have to worry about it getting cold. That's helping our business tremendously.
And speaking of delivery, you've been working with Very Nice Brewing up in 180 Jankowski Drive to deliver pizzas there, haven't you?
Yes, exactly. We deliver up there. We were doing it just call-in orders 2 hours in advance, but we've changed that for them. So if their patrons want to have a pizza, they just call here and we get it up there in the weekends for them. They don't have to wait.
You can check out another recent episode of the podcast to learn more about the Very Nice Brewing Company that just opened in Gilpin. But in the meantime, how did you guys come to the decision to work together?
You know, they came down to us and had a pizza one night and asked us if we were interested in joining with them and getting pizza up to their patrons. We both thought it was a great idea, and so far it's worked out pretty good. We've also been approached by the Elks Lodge up here to do the same thing for them, and it's not a bad idea. We like the thought of being able to deliver more pizzas. We get an awful lot of business from the casinos, their employees, and as a matter of fact, management will send down here for pizzas when they want to do a function for their employees. So that's helped us out quite a bit as well.
And what do you hope people will be able to take away from the pizza business here in Blackhawk and the pizzas that you serve in general?
You know, I know they can get fresh pizzas here. They're high quality ingredients. Our crust and sauce are the main motivation for a lot of these pizzas. They're very good. We also have a family style restaurant here where people can dine in. I know a lot of the casinos, when you bring your kids up and stay at the hotels, they have a hard time getting their kids fed down in the hotels themselves because of the gambling. We offer that for people so that they can come on down here and feed their family for a reasonable price, and it's not outrageous, and they can sit here and relax or take them outside to eat. We have tables outside, or even bring them back to the hotels. So we just want to be very convenient and reassure people that they're getting a high quality product. I think that's one of the major motivations that we do have here.
Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
That's a hard one. We've got a lot of ideas of what we may want to do. Right now, it's kind of prohibitive because we don't have a lot of help to do it with. But as things improve as far as employment-wise, we're going to start adding on our menu, hopefully adding things like chicken wings, sandwiches, things that people have been asking for, where we can keep them happy and keep them coming back.
I thought that this might end up being a shorter interview and that this was starting to wind down, but I was thankful when Michael ended up keeping talking and I developed some more questions along the way.
Oh, we like it here. You know, we've got a good location. The location is actually pretty nice. You look across the street, we see nothing but a nice green mountain. It's a nice place to sit out here and relax during the day. We're getting quite a bit more tourists and people coming up to the casino, stopping in regularly. Everybody seems to like it. We had a lot of compliments on our crust and on our sauce. Our sauce is actually imported from Italy. It's one of a kind. We went through test kitchens to figure out what we were going to serve to the people, and we turned down an awful lot of different foods till we decided which ones we like best and hope that our customers would like it too. And so far that has been a godsend because everybody seems to like it. They say they come back just for the sauce sometimes because they can't find anything that's comparable to it, which is a good selling point for us.
So it sounds like people can stop by for some great views.
Oh, yes. The views across the street are nice. There's a running stream over the side of the hill over here. We get to see deer and different animals outside during the day. And there's even a bear that runs around here in the evenings. So we try to stay away from him. But it's nice to get hummingbirds flying everywhere. It's a beautiful little spot. It's right on Highway 119. We get a lot of traffic coming up and down. Starting to get more and more of that traffic stopping in here. Our signage is a little tough due to different county regulations, but we are muddling through and making everything we can do with it work. Hopefully that may change here in the future if the county changes the regulations. We'll have to see about that. We're pretty good. We've got the little Coyote Motels next door. We also supply them quite often, their customers, with food as well. There's not a lot of food around here. Lunch is doing really good. The basic places people have to go to lunch here are inside casinos, and we're a little bit more economically motivated with that because we don't have to have the same overhead that big casinos have, and our food seems to be fresher than some of them. The employees up at the casinos seem to think so as well. So we get a lot of them come down to enjoy our pizzas. It's been pretty good. Getting better and better every day. You get to see a lot of good people. Families come in with their kids, and they like it in here. They don't have to be rushed. They can sit down and have a meal and not worry about the kids running around and getting in trouble or not being someplace where they're not supposed to be. So we definitely are family oriented.
So even though we talked about the fact that you hadn't delved into a pizza business before, I'm curious, what is your general business experience? Have you always wanted to start a business?
I've had several businesses in the past. I had a satellite business in the 90s that did real well. My wife worked for one of the airlines, got transferred after 9/11. So we sold our business and moved to Texas for a few years. Came back here. I operated a hot dog cart for a couple of years. And then moved up here about 10 years ago. Kind of retired. Got bored doing that. And then went to work for the Heidi gold mine up on the Parkway as a tour guide. I did that for 5 years and enjoyed it completely. Got to meet a lot of nice people. But I really saw a need for something else up here in Blackhawk. And a pizzeria fit right in. Everybody loves pizza. So I got looking for a location. As you know, locations up here in Blackhawk or Central City are hard to find, especially ones that have parking and have a little room to them. So January 6th, this was available. I put a lease on it and started renovating the building. And April 24th was our first opening date. So it took me a couple months to get everything up and running, but it was well worth it. I'd do it again if I had the opportunity. I think we're going to do really good here. It's not, I would say, a super big company. We're just small little mom and pop shop. We're not a franchise, so we can specialize a little bit more and have a little bit different type of food than your Pizza Hut or Domino's. Which everybody knows if you want one of those, you have to go to Denver to get it and bring it home. So we've got a lot of freshness in ours. And we really stick to where our delivery area is so that we can deliver a fresh pizza. That's one of the big things we have. Our pizza's always fresh and hot when it gets to your house. It makes a big difference, I think. My grandson does the deliveries up here for us. He works a full-time job. Then on the weekends, he comes and helps us out to get the pizzas out. I think that's a big deal for the people up here. We've had people from all over the country stop here. Alaska, East Coast, Florida, almost every state in the union. People have stopped it. It's been pretty interesting.
And how did opening go? Did you have a grand opening? Did you have a soft opening? And how were the numbers?
About a week before our grand opening, we had a soft opening, and I invited about 20 people over here that knew what they liked to eat. A couple of them were food critics, and sat them down and brought our pizzas out to them. We tried, probably 7 or 8 different variations of pizzas, and they just raved about it. And there's some favorites that they had, and we decided to put those on the menu, like chicken pesto and the Hawaiian. Those are a couple of our top-selling pizzas. They helped us out quite a bit deciding what we would do. But then we did the grand opening on the 24th, and it's been fun ever since. Many nights we've run out of food just because we have had so many customers. Good in one aspect and bad in others. But unfortunately, due to the size of our store here, we do what we can do. Someday I'd like to expand on it, but that's in the future.
Right now, it sounds like the primary goal is just to focus on whatever community you can.
And as it grows up here, I'm sure we'll have to grow with it. Maybe a walk-in cooler or something like that. Prior to this, it was a pawn shop. It stripped everything that was in here. At one time, there was actually a sandwich shop in here, but they took everything out and just left it for me to redo it. Which is okay because I got to do it the way I wanted. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a challenge, but I like a challenge.
All right, now we're winding down on the interview. So is there anything else that you'd like to add before we sign off for the week?
And we are completely licensed by all the state and local health department regulations. It's one of the main things we're doing here, and making sure that we have a clean kitchen, clean dining rooms. Don't have to worry about people getting sick, although I'm kind of getting sick of eating pizza. Unfortunately, I love it, but I can't eat as much as I do. But it's good. I have a hard time when I'm cooking it. It smells so good, you want to just get a slice. We do offer a bunch of stuff with it. Our meats, high-quality meats. We got pepperoni sausage, Italian sausage, Canadian bacon, and grilled chicken. We have all the veggies, the bell peppers, onions, olives, mushrooms, jalapenos, green chilies, and pineapple. So we do give assorted toppings people can have, and we're very, very reasonably priced. Our small cheese pizza, which I say small, it's a 14-inch, starts at $14.95, and our large pizza starts at $18.95. It's an 18-inch pizza. And our calzones been very, very popular. We've got a 2-topping calzone that starts at $11.95, and that is a meal in itself. We definitely aren't small. Everything here is good-sized portions. Everything's fresh. We slice all our veggies fresh every morning, and I have dough and sauce delivered at least 2 to 3 times a week, so you don't have to worry about it sitting, going bad. It's one of our objectives to make sure that everything is always fresh and available. We just buy it from the most reputable distributors in Denver. It's probably one of the best things we've ever done. Anybody's listening wants to come and apply for a job, come on down.
I've been trying to schedule an interview with Michael for a bit. In fact, this is one of the interviews that I mentioned last week that I've been trying to get to materialize. However, Michael is a consistently busy man with an insanely awesome work ethic. I respected him immensely for that, and I couldn't help but wish him and the business well and hoped that everything ran smoothly.
We hope to be here. I don't see it getting slower. at any time in the future. We just keep getting busier and busier. I've got some really good people working here now and more people hopefully coming. I'm glad I was able to answer your questions for you.
Thank you so much to Michael for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to learn more about Blackhawk Pizza before heading over to the physical location, you can check them out on Facebook at Blackhawk Pizza or call them at 303-582-3418. You can also email them at blackhawkpizza@yahoo.com, or if you're ready to head over to the physical location where they sell merchandise including t-shirts, be sure to head over to 5320 Highway 119 in Blackhawk. The pizza place is open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day, and they have limited delivery between Friday and Sunday from 5 to 10 p.m. And finally, if you want to learn more about Blackhawk Pizza that didn't make it into this episode of the podcast, I want to link you back to the actual physical edition of the paper. You can check out Mindy Leary's article, New Family-Run Pizzeria Opens in Blackhawk, both online and in the May 23rd, 2024 edition of the Mountain Ear. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in for this week's Miscellaneous Monday edition of the Mountaineer Podcast. I know I said that I would have a very special episode of Miscellaneous Monday next week for you guys, but I'm going to have to postpone that another week because there's a time-sensitive interview that I wanted to make sure I got into Miscellaneous Mondays, and I just couldn't get it for this week. But hopefully that interview will come out next week, and then the special episode of Miscellaneous Mondays will air the week after that. I promise the wait will be worth it. In the meantime, be sure to check out Wednesday's episode when we come back for a retrospective edition of the Mountaineer Podcast. And if you want to share this podcast around with friends, family, or anybody else, you can head to the Mountaineer Podcast. That's the MTNEAR podcast.buzzsprout.com, or you can head to the mtnear.com/the-mountain-ear-podcast to share this podcast around with whoever you see fit. And finally, if you're interested in either being on the podcast or in advertising for the podcast in any way, shape, or form, be sure to email me at media@themountaineer.com and we'll get something sorted for you. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for this week's retrospective.
Wake up, shaking. My voice is haunting your dreams. Say it's just a ghost.
The song that you are currently listening to is called The Long Haul, and it is the second of two new songs that are coming out on the director's cut of Finn O'Sullivan's latest EP, Best Last Words. You can stream the original EP as well as other releases of Finn's wherever you get your music, and while you're waiting for the director's cut to drop on Friday, July 19th, be sure to check her out online at FinnO'Sullivanmusic.com, on her Instagram at Finn O'Sullivan Music, and on her YouTube at Finn O'Sullivan, where she performs covers every single Friday. Also be sure to check out her music videos for Pity Party Thoughts and When the Power Comes Back On to see a very special guest star appearance. And finally, be sure to check out her trio, Children of Divorce, who are performing at the Gold Hill Inn very soon on Saturday, July 20th at 5:30 p.m. It's located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill, and you can see Finn O'Sullivan, Katie Eager, and Genevieve Lieben, all of whom have their own solo careers, performing live together. Be sure to stream their single, The Audacity, wherever you get your music to get a taste of what you might expect.
Out of your head for a while. Pretend to forget. You always let me come back in style till the shoe didn't fit. I always thought you'd be the one.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak-to-Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.